If I were learning options trading for the first time, this is exactly how I would start. I'll show you the entire process step by step and keep it simple. After years of trading, I've created a beginner-friendly checklist that will instantly make you know more than 90% of people. So make sure you stick around until the end of this video for a secret trick that took me over 5 years to figure out. An option is a contract, not stock ownership. Let's make this very simple. When you buy a stock, you buy actual shares. You own a small piece of the company. But when you buy an option, you are buying a contract. So, what do I mean by a contract? Think of it as a separate agreement. Instead of buying the company, this agreement is simply a way to bet on whether the stock price will go up or down. You don't own the stock. You just own the agreement that tracks its movement. Here is the most important part. One single options contract controls exactly 100 shares of stock. Let's use an example. Imagine a stock costs $75 for one share. If you want to buy 100 shares the normal way, you have to pay $7,500. That is a lot of money to spend all at once. Instead of buying the shares, you can buy an options contract. This contract might cost you only $300 because one contract always controls 100 shares. Your $300 agreement is now connected to the movement of those exact same 100 shares. This brings us to a word you will hear a lot: leverage. Leverage is a simple idea. It just means using a small amount of money to control a large amount of value. In our example, you just used $300 to control the movement of $7,500 worth of stock. If you bet that the stock will go up, and it does, the value of your contract goes up too. You get the financial power of 100 shares, but you only paid a small fraction of the price. Now let me pull up an option chain so I can show you how it all looks visually. When it comes to options, we need to ask ourselves 3 important questions. What direction do we think the stock is gonna go? Is it gonna go up or down? By how much is the stock gonna go up or down? And by what time it's gonna go up or down? The first thing that we look at is the direction. We have 2 types of options: calls and puts. We buy calls when we believe that the stock price is gonna go up. We buy puts when we believe that the stock price is gonna go down. Then we look at the expiration date. That tells us when the contract is gonna expire, so by this time the move needs to already happen. Then we choose the expiration date. Let's go for 7 days from now. So we believe that the move is gonna happen in no more than 7 days. Then this pops up. I know it might seem confusing, so we'll get through each one of the single data points above so you know what I'm talking about. Let's start with the strike price. The strike price is essentially the price that we believe the stock is gonna reach. You have all the different strike prices written down in the middle, and this line over here is the current value of one single stock, which is $327.88. Let's say we believe the stock's price is gonna go up to $335. Then we're gonna be looking at this row and buy the options contract from here. But before we get into talking about that, let's talk about all the different data points. First, we have the bid and the ask. That's the range of prices that you can buy this particular contract at, which means, let's say for the $315 strike price, you could pay anywhere from $83 to $105, because remember what I told you, each single contract controls 100 shares. So make sure you always multiply this price by 100. So that's our range, $83 to $105. That's the price range in which we can pay for this exact stock. You're learning what options are and how they work, but what you'll need to figure out is what stock to trade and what direction it will go. And that's where Options Flow comes in. Options Flow lets you track all the trades that are coming in live. You will be able to track exactly what other traders are buying, which will help you see the big moves before they happen. So feel free to click the link in the description and sign up today. Now, let's get back to the video. The next important data point is the volume and open interest. Open interest tells us how many contracts were being held yesterday after the market closed, and volume tells us how many transactions were made on this particular contract today. So open interest is being updated once a day at the end of the day, and volume is being updated live. It shows us if there's any activity on this particular contract. When you look at strike prices that are really far from the current stock price, you can see there's no much volume and no much open interest, which means there's not many people actually trading them. So to wrap it up, the most important data points that we need to think about is the strike price, the bid and the ask, plus the difference between them, which we call a spread, and the volume and open interest that shows us how much activity there is behind this particular contract. Now, let's talk about in-the-money contracts and out-of-the-money contracts. In-the-money contracts are the ones that already satisfy our needs, and by that, I mean the current stock price is at or above the strike price when it comes to calls, or below when it comes to puts. Because remember, when we buy calls, we want the stock to go up above our chosen strike price. The stock price is already above all of those strike prices, so all those contracts are in the money. Those contracts that do not satisfy our needs yet, which means the strike price is above the current stock price, we call them out of the money. For puts, we want the current stock price to be below our chosen strike price. So if we choose any of those strike prices, this already satisfies it because 327 is less than 330, for example. So all those contracts are also in the money. And again, the contracts in which the stock price is still above our chosen strike price, we call them out of the money. And as you can see, it reflects on the prices of the contracts. Those contracts are already in the money, so the price for them is higher than for the ones that are out of the money. Similar here, the contracts in the money are more expensive than the contracts out of the money, but it also comes with risk. When you buy contracts that are out of the money, you're taking a higher risk because by the time they expire, which is 7 days in this example, may not drop down below or go above the strike price that we want. So the further out of the money we go, the cheaper the contracts are gonna be, but they're gonna carry more risks. The further in the money we go, the risk is lower, but the contracts get more expensive. The last thing I want to talk about before I give you the checklist is the concept of theta. When it comes to options trading, time is working against you. The longer that you hold the contract without big moves happening in the market, your contract loses value because the closer it is to the expiration date, the more volatile it is. So if there are no big moves happening in the market, your contract is worth less than it was the day before. Let's talk about the checklist that I told you guys about. First thing that we need to do is pick our expiration date. When you're a day trader, you do not want to pick expiration dates that are further than 2 weeks from now, because then they won't move that much and the profits are not gonna be that much. And when you're day trading, you want to get in and get out on the same day. So for it to be worth your time, some moves need to be happening, right? So that's why you want to pick anywhere from 0 to 14 days. When you're a swing trader, which means you give yourself more time for the move to happen, you want to aim from anywhere from 2 weeks to 65 days from now, because then the contracts are not that risky, you can hold them, and theta is not going to eat them that much. Because if you wanted to hold on to contracts with shorter expiration dates, you would lose money just because of theta. So that's why you want to pick contracts that are a little bit further out when it comes to the expiration date. So let's pick the expiration date 2 weeks from now. The next thing you want to do is choose your strike price. You always want to balance your risk to your return. So if you're swing trading, you do not want to pick far out of the money contracts. And if you're day trading, you do not want to pick in the money contracts. Because when you're day trading, you want the moves to happen. So you believe that the stock is gonna go up or above when you're buying a call, or below a certain price when you're buying a put. Because when you're day trading, you believe the stock is gonna make a big jump today. Then you need to pick your strike price. You always want to balance the risk to return, which means not picking far out of the money contracts or in the money contracts when you're day trading. You want to pick something in the middle. So let's say we believe the stock is gonna go up to $330. We will pick this strike price. The next thing we need to make sure is that there's both volume and open interest. And let's look at that. Yes, we have both volume and open interest, so it's good. So now the price can be anywhere from $485 to $615. So now you need to make sure that you're not overpaying. You do not want to buy the ask price, which is $615, because remember, you can pay anywhere from here to here. So first you want to try pay the bid price, which is $485, and then just wait for the contract to get filled in. So you always want to aim for the lower end instead of just paying the most expensive price possible, which will just make you overpay and eat your profits. So now that we've talked through the entire checklist, let's go through it really quickly. First we choose the expiration date, then we pick our strike price, then we make sure there's both volume and open interest, then we make sure we're not overpaying and not buying at the ask price, and then we get filled and our contract is in. So now at the end of this video, I promised you guys a trick that I'm gonna tell you that it took me over 5 years to learn, and that trick is delta. Delta tells us how much contract's price changes relative to the stock's price. And you might think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, like how did it take you 5 years to figure that out? Well, it didn't take me 5 years to figure out what delta is, but how to use it to pick perfect contracts. Because when you're day trading, you always want to aim for delta being between 0.3 and 0.5. And when you're swing trading, you always want to aim for delta being between 0.7 to 0.85. So that's pretty much everything you need to know to start options trading as a beginner. I hope you guys liked it, and make sure to check out our other videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.